Hi, my name is Frank Adamson. I'm an assistant professor of education leadership and policy studies at Sacramento State. My research shows that the use of market-based approaches in education increases inequity and stratification. So while some charter schools perform well and some targeted voucher systems can increase achievement, overall at a systemic level, these systems increase the inequitable distribution of resources to schools and to students. So market-based systems of schools use competition as a driver, and this competition creates incentives for schools to actually exclude students and thus increase the already embedded inequities that we have in our school system based on our property tax system at the local level. Another important finding of my research in my dissertation showed that income inequality is negative for almost everyone in education. So when we looked at more unequal countries, we found that the poorer students, the lower SES, socioeconomically disadvantaged students, performed worse than their peers in more equal countries. We would expect that. However, we also found that the wealthier, higher socioeconomic students also performed worse. So that means that inequality at a system level is bad for everyone in education. That we know how to run high quality education systems. From Finland as a country to jurisdictions like Ontario and Union City in New Jersey, we have seen that investments in teachers and in the equitable distribution of resources in education can lead to high quality systems. And if we have the political will to enact these systems, we can be successful in education. So when we look at systems across the globe and how they use different types of educational approaches, so we see some countries using a privatization approach and some countries using a public investment approach. And when we do comparisons of countries like those, we have a book where we compared Finland and Sweden, the US and Canada, and Chile and Cuba. And Sweden, the US, and Chile use privatization approaches, and their outcomes have really suffered over the last 2 decades. Whereas countries that use a public investment approach, such as Finland, Canada, and Cuba, are seeing a lot of success on international assessments and a lot of public support. And these countries, the ones that use the public investment model, have one major thread in common, and that is that they invest in their teachers. They make their teachers a high quality professionalized labor force, and they see the results in the classroom, and the parents love it. Parents, teachers, and community groups would benefit from hearing about my research because they could understand what's happening or what could happen in their schools, and they could bring the information to the decision makers about what choices they want made for their students' education. Policymakers could also use my research as they approach decisions about the future of their education systems and whether or not they will incorporate a more privatized model of education or whether they will invest in the public systems that are already in place.